Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the April 18th, 2016 meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. We started our meeting this evening at 6:30. We had a non-public meeting to discuss a personnel issue, and then we followed that with a non-public meeting to speak with the union. And so here we are. We're up to public comment at this point. So the floor is open for public comment.
Hi, Sherry Burdick. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I understand you discussed the town hall doors. And I wasn't involved with the purchase of the doors at all. And so I don't know anything about any warranty. But I do know that I recommended that we'd go with redwood or mahogany or cypress, not MDF, because of the issues with MDF doors warping. But that's what happened, so that's what we're stuck with, I guess.
Okay.
But
we're not stuck with it. We're working at hopefully coming to a resolution that satisfies the town.
But I did come up for a meeting after the fact, and they were gonna do redwood doors that had been processed, right, Tom? Remember, he came up with a sample, we looked at it.
Yeah, and we're still in limbo on that,
Okay.
because we're trying to get more of a credit. They are giving us some credit
They had
toward,
said,
but we're trying to get a larger credit toward the replacement.
right. I thought we were only supposed to have to pay an additional $200 or something, or $400 or.
That's the
The
direction
meeting
we're
I
pushing
came-
anyway.
The meeting I came to, that's what was said. I think it was $400 additional. Dave from Mass Road Granite and Lumber was here that day, and you asked me to come up.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, we need to do something.
Yep, we are working on it. Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. All set, Chief. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the removal of a stone wall on LaFrance Road. So at this time, I recognize Andy Isbicky.
Andy.
Isbicky? Hey, I did all right. What was yours?
Yeah, all right. How are you doing?
Good.
I'll just, Andy's looking for a approval to remove part of a stone wall on France Road. He's been before the planning board on Thursday night and it was approved. Is there existing 14 feet now and you need to open it 30 for the driveway?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
taking like 20 feet out of this
Yeah.
one, and I'm gonna move it up like 100 feet, because I got 2 openings in there, and I'm gonna close up the other section. So it's
So,
pretty basic.
Benji went out and looked at it, didn't have an issue. He went out with Chip. Planning board's already approved it. This is a formality, because if you remember Article 53 of the 2003 town meeting requires him to make this step next. So that's why he's here.
The planning board didn't have any question
No,
with it at all.
so,
You were there?
No, he was there.
I was there.
Well,
I move we approve the removal of, what's the total width that you need?
20 feet. Well, I need 30 feet coming in.
Okay, removal of maximum of 30 feet of stone wall with the understanding the rocks will be used to close other gaps in the wall.
Yes,
I'll second that.
and that should happen right away. You know, that'd be one of the first things I do, so, when I go in there.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Next on the agenda is department head committee items and Chief Bob Vizina to discuss a grant to update hazardous mitigation plan.
many of you probably remember, back in October, we were authorized by the Board of Selectmen to make application to the Homeland Security Federal Emergency Management Agency Hazardous Mitigation Grant Program that would provide funds for us to update our hazardous mitigation grant in the sum of $6,000. We were successful in that. So I am seeking, I guess, acceptance, or the board to accept the grant in the amount of $6,000 and to authorize or appropriate that money for the updating of the plan. In a nutshell. And as part of that, there's some grant documents that need to be signed by, you know who it is, I assume the board.
Chair.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the grant of $6,000 to be used for the upgrading of the, or updating of the hazardous mitigation plan.
I'll second.
And authorize the chair to sign the documents for that grant.
So Ricky seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No? Thanks.
While you're here, you want to do the hot water with me? Party package last week, you guys, the hot water heater went in the town, in the safety complex. And, we had one bid at the time of the meeting. You asked me to go back, and so I reached out to, there's a memo in your thing. You asked me to reach out to the others that were on the list, of which, 4 of them, one of them was too busy, didn't have the time. Thank you for the opportunity. The other 3 went and looked at it, and part of the problem, and I asked the chief to stay because I never went and visited, but part of the problem with it, it was not compliant, code compliant.
It's not a code compliant installation.
Right. So, one of the contractors wanted to replace it with something, I guess I'll call it smaller. I won't say less standard, but it was smaller. And, that was a 3225. Same thing with the 3800 was kind of what we have for what we have. And I guess I felt that if we were gonna replace it, let's replace it code compliant. So, the chief and I talked, and I've given, Granite State could come and do it. I've given Granite State Plumbing and Heating the okay. It's gonna be a, quick recovery,
I
18
think it's
inches
a-
off the floor.
I think it's a
It's gonna be-
Renai, is it not a Renai?
Yes,
A Renai
it's
unit?
gonna be, compliant, which requires the electrical to be redone. Is there anything more you wanna add?
Yeah, the couple big issues, because it's on the, where we do the vehicle storage, it needs to be 18 inches off the floor, which it's not, the current one is not. It's in a room that's too small for the burner size, there's not enough makeup air in that room, so the doors are constantly open, so that it runs. And then to solve some of those problems, to create makeup air, and to get the tank off the floor, we ran out of wall space really to get the makeup air unit intake in, because it has to be separated from the exhaust. And by raising the tank up, it doesn't give us enough room for the chimney and the power vent unit. So it really caused us to rethink what it is that we're doing. And I think, I agree with Granite State's assessment that the Renai is probably the best approach for that, given the size of that room and the limitations of it.
And they're gonna be, tomorrow morning, they'll be here to replace it. The other ones, it was gonna be a little while, it was just, and no offense taken of anybody, it was just gonna be kind of Mickey Mouse to what we had there that was Mickey Mouse. It really wasn't compliant. So, Granite State ordered the parts. They'll be here in the morning to fix it. It's my understanding that, I think we talked about it last week, about issues with hot water and not having hot water. It was an issue Sunday at the PD that there was contact made and some blood all over one of the officers, and he couldn't shower with hot water because of that exposure. just, we are getting it fixed. But with that being said, I would ask that the motion be made by the board to go with Granite State Plumbing and Heating to come out of the Government Building and Maintenance Fund, which currently there's $90,343.14.
I'll entertain a motion.
I just have a question first.
I got to.
Is it a, what do they call it, a tankless quick recovery system, or is it a system with a storage tank?
That's my assumption. I haven't looked at what they submitted. I know there's a brief discussion in trying to deal with the makeup issue.
I think it's called on-demand, not a quick recovery, an on-demand system.
Do you know?
I stay out of anything with the town.
Oh, yeah.
Granite State.
Yeah, she,
I don't even look
Yeah,
at the quote.
that would be my assumption based on the manufacturer.
And it's a propane
yes.
system.
It also needed a mixing valve because it didn't have a mixing valve, which is required by code now.
But I put in a wax valve on it too.
Who?
A wax valve. It should.
I'm sure they are.
Do you have specs of something about what we're buying?
Yeah, it's a,
It's
if you walked, yeah, if you went in and looked at it, you would scratch your head as to how it was installed in the first place.
Yeah, which is not that old
I just-
building.
Hmm?
It's not that old of a building, so it surprises me.
I'm
to hear
pretty
that.
sure that wasn't code compliant from day one.
Yeah, that's surprising. That.
Now, I got a question. I know that we need it, I get it. But we turned away the police department last week because the 3 bids were not similar. Are these 3 bids similar
We turned away the police department for what?
on the garage doors?
She just said that they weren't, they were gonna put it in.
One was putting in
Existing.
75-gallon tank, one was gonna,
Okay, well, we had the same thing with the garage door at the Sallyport. One was putting in track, one was doing this, one was doing that. I understand there's a dire need for this, but
which is what we talked about last week, is putting it out and putting it on hold and
Right.
trying to get it done so that we weren't,
I thought we gave the authorization last week.
We did.
To move for Naomi to move
I
forward.
mean, we had a dilemma.
we did. I just want to make sure that we're being consistent here. If we're gonna raise it 18 inches, that all the vendors were notified that they're gonna raise it 18 inches.
What is how much is are we over the $5,000?
It was 51,5886. The other 2 were under 4, but the other 2 were, they all went and looked at it, and I mean, if you want me to take somebody and take them over there, let them write a spec, and then let them bid on it, I had all of these people that are certified go in and look at what is there, explain that we need to solve the situation as soon as possible. I guess putting in something that's less than what we have there, I didn't think was sufficient. Not being code compliant is a concern of mine. Not being vented properly. I mean, we can't just, I guess I just feel that we can't just tuck something in there for,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. My thought process is the fact that if Granite State came in and said, we want to do, we're gonna bring it to code, we're gonna raise up the 18 inches off the floor, then Weare Plumbing and Heating should have been told the same thing. Bring it to code. What is code? I just want to make sure that all these bids are for the same job.
well, they're for the same job.
Not just
yeah,
swing the
they're
heat.
for the same job. I know that in the initial conversation with Irving, they stated that we had 2 issues. One was makeup air, which you just have to look at the thing and you know that there's not enough makeup air. And the other one was to solve the 18-inch issue. It had to be off the floor.
And it's my
In
understanding
a
that Weare Plumbing
subsequent
and Heating knew about the
conversation
18
with one of the,
because he mentioned it to me on the phone. He didn't supply anything in writing.
who's
But
that?
we did talk about the 18 inches off the
Where
floor.
plumbing and heating.
That's
And who
why,
is that?
not to say that it's not the same job. I'm saying is that the work performed is going to be the same, to the same spec.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my question.
Yeah,
But
and I
the
know the
difference is-
conversation that I had with one of the proposers, was that it needed to be raised up and it needed to, we needed to make up there.
I'm not disagreeing with that, chief, I'm not.
No, and I understand what your point is.
I guess I see this, whether your question to me, well, to the board was to consider whether we're being inconsistent. And the way this was presented last week was more of an emergency than I guess I would consider a garage door replacement.
We haven't been with hot water for over a week, and we function in an environment that we can't even wash our dishes in a sanitary fashion, let alone, uniforms or anything else that we get contaminated, even just cleaning. We clean our side of the building, so, we're at a disadvantage for that as well.
And I mentioned all that.
I'd like
The
to
last
just
meeting, I did.
get going, so.
But I just wanna make sure that everybody that bid on the same exact process and job and raising it, and that's all.
I
Bring
would
it
say
to code.
we presented the situation to the different vendors, with the exception of, is it Weare Plumbing? I didn't meet with him.
And I had
know
a
we spoke with
conversation
him on
with
the
him, and
phone.
he said that's not compliant, you need to
Yeah.
put it 18 inches off the floor.
So
So
he
he knew,
So they were all shown
right,
the situation that we had, and they came back with a proposal that
Okay.
would meet our needs.
I'm not trying to say we need a set
I don't
standard.
think that we sent out a document and
No, we
then didn't present them with, we presented different scenarios. We brought them in the room and said, we need to replace this.
And I know you want to stay out of this, but if you could just look at that to see, I want to know what we're buying, and you're more qualified to interpret it. Is it
page 2.
an on-demand system when they talk about the pump
I
and
know
so
the last
forth?
we spoke, I was gonna look up, what is it, L9?
Yeah, so we're not propane water heater.
Is that a tank or no tank?
Tankless.
Yeah, I don't think it has it.
That's what I thought, but I don't have
In
the
the
experience.
police side of the building, the tank is relatively in the middle of the building. There's probably more demand on our side. The police side have a circulator pump, a little circulator pump to get the hot water to their end of the building faster, if not constantly. And that, I don't know.
Did they know that?
Do they know that?
Did Granite State know that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it exists.
Well, I understand, but that's like
yeah.
if you have a tank of hot water that's sending it all around so that it's closer to
Well, what
where
they're,
you're gonna
what
ask
they're,
for.
in discussing it with Granite State was, that circulator should have, some sensor on it that says, hey,
We're not asking
the
for hot water
water-
right now.
the water's warm enough in that loop and not to run that pump. So I think, I'm gonna assume that it's in the document, so.
And it looks like they're providing the wiring as well.
Mhm.
So that's,
In that quote,
yeah.
yeah. The others would have to have an electrician.
And the others weren't able to.
No, they usually don't.
They don't have someone that works with them, they'll have to get it, we'd have to get an
I
electrician.
know one of the vendors had a nominal amount of money in there for an electrician to make some connections.
I move that we purchase a hot water system from Granite State Plumbing and Heating for the safety complex for a total of $5,158.86. Money to come from the
Right-hand side.
building, government building and maintenance fund.
Second? Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Testing.
General abstain.
Jen abstained. I'm all set, but I want your signature on that thing.
On this? Does he have to sign this? Because there's two sub-recipient signature areas.
Oh, on that,
Yeah,
the grant form, okay.
So he would be one and I would be two?
I would think so, because he's the emergency management director.
And that needs to be, right,
That needs to be something.
the government fund?
Yeah. You're the requester, fire department.
Oh.
Yeah. Up under, it's one of the top lines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you can take that back after, because you're the
You have
emergency
to
manager.
notarize it, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry, gentlemen. If you wanna come by tomorrow, and I can notarize it when you
I
come
can
by.
do that.
So I can finish some things
Okay.
later then. Okay. Next on the agenda was a discussion about radios, but we're gonna postpone that to next week's meeting. Somebody wasn't ready for it, or the
He
vendor wasn't
couldn't,
ready
he
to come in
couldn't
this week.
swap a meeting he had.
And you couldn't make it.
So next is noise ordinance subcommittee discussion.
What I presented you was, you had asked me to go back through the 2 public hearings, and what I did is I went down through the list of people that spoke, for both nights. Some of them were the same. Most of them provided an address. There's an awful lot of people on that list. So, I'm not sure how you do you want to invite them back? I mean, you talked about a subcommittee, but that's an awful lot of people.
Right.
I would think maybe take a business owner,
It'd be a decade later when we got to the,
maybe a business owner and a homeowner.
But how do I pick them out of a hat?
Yeah, I would say we put it out there
Okay.
and see what you get for people
Right.
actively responding that they want to be part of it.
Okay.
Instead of just picking Jen and
Right,
leaving
but I
somebody
mean,
out that
maybe
wants to be part
somebody,
of it.
maybe a business owner would wanna be
Well,
in it,
I
and
guess-
if not, we don't.
I
Well,
guess
let me
we'll see.
ask you
And
this.
what I was thinking when we asked was that the list was gonna be probably significantly shorter, and then we just literally reach out to everybody on the list, but it's probably not.
Like, when I started, I'm
Practical.
like, that's not gonna work for what Keith was looking for, so
Right.
I broke it down this way. Now, you say participate, you could, Fish and Game came both days, I think he has an interest. Ed Loopy, because they're property owners.
Right.
Are you looking for a certain number, or just wanna throw it out there and see how many is actively interested?
Yeah, throw it out and see how many are interested. I mean, that's my opinion.
yeah, somehow we should try to get a diverse group too.
Well, that's
You know,
kinda-
because when we went to these meetings, there were 2 sides to the issue.
Mhm.
And I think we have to be sure we have both
I
sides
didn't write pro or
covered.
con, but I can go back and look at the minutes, because I have to, but.
Yeah, there were people concerned about whether or not they were gonna be able to
Right.
do the things they wanna do, which is a legitimate concern as well, so.
Alright, so I guess I'll see these.
Is it on the website that we're looking to?
No, I
Okay.
want you to see this long list first.
Okay. Yeah, so the thought was maybe we were literally gonna just reach out to everybody
Right, that was the
who's
initial
on here,
thought.
but, okay.
Okay, we can put that on the website under the news section, and that would get them. Okay.
Okay. Approval of meeting minutes from the 11th.
And you just got them, because she got them to me yesterday, so I put them up today.
And I wasn't in the office.
Okay.
Just before we go on from where we are with this, with the noise ordinance thing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we could ask the people who respond some question that would just give us an idea of where they came down on this, as whether there's a need or not a need for a noise ordinance, so that we can get a balanced group. Otherwise, we're not going to know
Right.
who's who unless, you know, I mean, I see a couple people there who I knew brought forth the issue to begin with, but
Mhm.
still, that would be arbitrary to select in that way.
So do you have a question?
It's as simple as.
You know,
Do you feel we need one or
Yeah,
not?
you think we need one or not? And if they say no, that doesn't mean they don't participate.
No,
no, it just means that we need, like, I don't
because
know,
there's,
kind of a
there's
balance.
43
Right.
people on that list. There's 43 names, because that's how many were on there. All right, no, we can ask a yes or no.
Ask, say thanks.
Okay.
Why you want to know? Well, because we want a good cross
Good
section. That's
diverse
why.
group.
Yep. Has everybody else had the chance to read the minutes? I know I haven't. I wasn't at the office today, but if everyone else has, I don't have an issue.
I haven't read them.
I couldn't print them,
Do you
again,
want mine, Tom?
because they weren't on the website. We got them For some reason, the only way that I can print them is if they come on the website.
Okay.
Well,
But I
it's not
did-
against the rules to put it on next week either.
I did have a couple of things, and that's all.
Well, two of them
I
haven't
think you're the only
been.
one that read them, though, Tom.
Oh, okay.
We'll do them next week.
We'll table it for next week.
I didn't look at all the manifests. Is there 3?
I don't know if he's looking at everything.
I know there's a fairly thick folder for the assessor too. Would you make sure there's 3 on everything?
I can do that. I have not yet.
Okay, thank you.
You told me I missed one that
There
wasn't
was
there on
one
the weekend.
manifest that came in this afternoon. She put one in there after you'd been over the weekend.
Snuck it by the goalie. I'll move we order the treasurer to sign the accounts payables and payroll checks dated April 21st, 2016, as included in the following manifests. Payroll manifest $62,214.54 for weekly payroll, including on-call bonuses and active accrual payout. That was easy to say. Forest Fire payroll manifest of $218.05 for March 27, 2016 incident. Accounts payable manifest of $41,665. A supplemental accounts payable manifest of $15,169.58. And a John Stark regional manifest of $250,000 for the April 2016 appropriation, for a total of $369,267.17.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna take on my list, I'm gonna skip over the first part, because I wanna talk about that in detail after, which is the government building maintenance projects, because I also gave you guys a town hall repairs list that we've crossed out, what we've done so far. But there's also a gazebo issue. The gazebo's starting to move, and I have pictures to show that, so we'll talk about the government building and maintenance a little bit after. Noise ordinance you know about, feasibility study. Keith, is there a certain day that, or an evening that works better for you guys to meet?
For,
The subcommittee for the fire and range.
I guess we'll see who's interested. in-
There's 4 people, plus you and Jack is
Okay,
6.
have you asked those guys, the other?
Nope, I just wanted to kinda, if you had an idea of what, at nights, or what works for
Yeah, I
you.
think so. I'm not coaching anything this season, so.
Okay. All right, because I guess I'll just ask the consensus, to give a couple of nights and see what works for you.
Yep.
And I'll have to see Jack's does Cub Scouts with the boys, so, or with Jack.
Yep.
I've got I don't have the other maps for the other group of you for the no-through trucking, so I'll get those to the 3 as soon as I get those. They should be here this week, so I can get them. Transfer station fees, you asked me last week to have her remove the Wheelabrator numbers on the bottom. She's gonna do that, but she didn't get a chance to get another printout, so you'll get a new printout probably tomorrow. Conservation, they did have their controlled burn yesterday for anybody that saw smoke over in the north side of town. It was scheduled for Friday, and then it got moved to Saturday, but both of those were red flag days, so they couldn't burn. Yesterday, they did control and did have a controlled burn. The question was floated out there is how well did it work, and there was no response back from those that did it, so I'm not sure. I would think things went well. There was a question this morning about, what exactly was on fire, so we answered that question.
On that, I went out to look at it because it's pretty close to where I live. And it burned basically the dead grass, but it didn't, the field is growing up in brush again, and it's like it burned around the brush. It didn't take down any of the brush that's burning there. I don't know what the Conservation Commission's plan is as far as whether having that mowed afterwards or what, but just informational. I'm not making judgments.
Yep.
But it did burn only the dry grass at the base, but the brush is still all standing.
Is that what starts fires? Dead grass?
Yeah. Mice with matches.
Did you say matches?
Mice with matches.
Gotcha. Just a reminder, Saturday
Thank you.
morning, we've decided we're gonna pick up trash on East Road, so we'll meet at the middle school at 8. Is that what time?
That's what I thought you were gonna do when you took public comment.
Is that 8 we can get bags? Oh, no, we have bags. What time do we want to meet? Because I can get all the blue bags I want next door. We don't have to wait. If we start at the middle school, our charge is to do East Road. 8?
So we were outvoted on Short Street?
There's a lot down there, so be careful what you have to ask for.
What, East Road or Short Street? Oh.
So if we all meet at 8 a.m. at the middle school, we can get done East Road and,
Yep.
okay? All right, just a reminder. I do have a request. I'm sorry, I should finish my list. I'm sorry, like an ADD child here. Transfer station, I know probably a month ago or more, I sent out an email, this was back when Tim was here. Our load of trash, when it got to the incinerator, was rejected because it goes through this little thing and this radioactive light comes on. So there was radioactive waste in our trash, so they sent it back. And so the load comes back to us, it gets pushed out on the ground, and the state inspector is there, and they find whatever radioactivity. They have this little Ghostbuster tool that picks up the radioactive, and what they found was it's actually was kitty litter. And the kitty litter is, there's evidently a pet in town that has a thyroid issue. So it has medication that is radioactive, I guess, in the kitty litter. So the state inspector said there's only 2 vets in the area that knows of or can prescribe this medication for the pets. So those 2 vets have been notified. Now, a couple months later, now the bag another bag showed back up. So today we had to go through the same with the state and bring the trash back. It just is costly to do that because we still have to get rid of the trash, but we take it down, we bring it back, and we get the hauling fee. We wait while the state looks through it, takes the one contaminated bag, they load the trash back up, and it goes again. So that's why you'll see on the hauling, the wait time has been crazy. So I'm not sure how to handle it other than maybe Benji and I talked today because he was in today to handle it, but is maybe somehow put a note up. I can't say that you can't take kitty litter, I guess, but you know what I mean? I just, it becomes very costly when it gets put in there and then gets transported back and forth.
I don't know, are there HIPAA laws in veterinary medicine?
I don't know, but
I don't
you know.
either, but if there isn't, maybe if the doctor identified who it was, we could
Well, that's what
contact
we were
them directly.
hoping was going to happen, but no one's come forward. We've been not given a name. Benji did ask the state examiner because he's the one who requested the question, and nobody got back to him.
So the vet never talked to the state either?
The state reached out to 2 veterinarians, but they didn't get a response back as to who it might be.
No, but did the veterinarians respond that, yeah, there is a patient of ours who's treating their cat?
No, nobody's responded back to the state.
Can we call the,
Do we?
or can you call the administrator?
I know, but what if do we not take it? I'm just trying to figure out
Well,
what
it
we
would
do
be,
with it.
the ideal situation would be to find out who it is and ask them to not keep doing, explain to them what happens when they do it.
Okay.
If, you know,
Benji's got the gentleman's card. I can see, if it's a local one and call, I'm not sure that I'm breaking any HIPAA law with a cat, but I don't know.
we can ask all we want. It's the vet that would break a law that would tell us information we're not supposed to.
It's unfortunate because I guess if you let it sit, it evidently
Well, we shouldn't.
goes away. You know what I mean?
We should
'Cause
try to
then,
figure it out.
but I'm just saying if it sits and seeps away and whatever, you can then get rid of it after a certain
So
amount of time.
we do know the name of the,
We do not know who it comes from.
okay. We do, at the town level, know the names of the vets that will prescribe this,
Gentleman that came from the state does.
but
we
we
didn't
don't.
ask. No, but I'm sure we didn't ask the question.
Yeah, 'cause I think maybe that would be, we don't really know whether the state followed through with any emphasis or
No.
not. So if we had the names of those vets, we could contact them ourselves.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's only 2. There's not like there's
Yeah.
35 I gotta call.
with a brief explanation
Yeah.
of what is happening.
Because I think the last hauling bill, it was like $700 to have Sizemore wait, to go, come back, wait, and go and come back. So that's expensive, you know, and now it's cropped back up.
Dumping trash on the ground and going through it.
Yeah, and you had to go through it. So, I just wanted you to be aware, but we are trying to,
Because I'm assuming
Figure
the
it out.
person who's throwing the kitty litter in has no idea this is happening.
no, I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so either, and I bet you if they did know, they would probably ask what they can do differently to
Right.
keep that from
Right. And I was hoping that maybe a conversation like this would get somebody to understand what's going on.
I think we need to be more proactive than that,
Yep.
and literally reach out to the vet, and if they know who it is.
Well, I'll call the state and ask for the 2 veterinarians. I can call the vets
Yeah,
and go
I
from
mean,
there.
I would doubt the person who's giving the medication to their cat would even know that it
No, I wouldn't.
is radioactive
Right.
in that sense.
So, yeah, we can be a little bit more, because it does get costly, and here's the second time. And each time, you don't know what it is until they open up the bags. So it seems to be it's the
Yeah.
same.
Just be put out. Sorry.
I was just gonna say there's probably,
Is anybody's cat glowing in the dark?
It's probably not that powerful.
Probably not.
so let's go back to the top with government buildings, if you don't mind. The town hall doors, we've had a brief discussion about that. You guys had a chance to read the right letter that I gave you, not the wrong letter. And I'm not sure where you want to go or what would be our next step with the town hall doors. There's no warranty paperwork that we received.
Okay,
Here.
that was what we asked, if that
And I asked-
warranty information came to the person
Chip
who
signed off
installed
as
it, or-
accepting the delivery, and there was nothing with it. It was just the bill, he received it, there was no warranty.
Can we
paperwork
get a
with it.
warranty from them?
Well,
The
we did,
warrant-
but the warranty doesn't cover the doors of
The
that
warranty
width.
doesn't cover the doors, it's like 42 inches. Have
Yeah,
you read
automatically puts it so.
the doors were constructed at 46, and it looks like anything over 42, it voids the warranty anyway. But we didn't know that, nor, someone should alerted us that it wasn't gonna be
Yeah.
covered.
Well, does Laura know that new information?
She's got this same letter.
Okay.
She didn't reply
She doesn't
back,
know
I
that
mean.
we never got that until we've asked just now for the.
I asked
credit.
Chip and I looked around here and nobody's got it here. The only thing and I'm just gonna say it, I'm curious how, if, I mean, I can go online and get it as well, and it looks like it was something that was printed off a website. So if you had a warranty for a certain door, I would thought you might have a brochure or something. Is
I
that
think
too
what
much?
they're saying in the letter, I have to reread it now, but that in the book that came with the doors, that it had warranty information in that, that was made available before the doors were ordered, that there was warranty information in that book. Like we've got the book on the Torrified doors,
Right.
and it spells out in that the warranty information. And I think I read that in here. I am in the middle of this, obviously, mentioned in here, but I don't recall having any contact with Dave Caldwell until the doors warped. And then, the first words out of his mouth were, "We'll stand behind it." That's not what the letter says here, but unfortunately, we're kind of stuck like, one person say one thing, one saying another. It's kind of hard to prove either way.
I mean, I can tell her we didn't get the warranty, but I think, like, you're gonna get this back and forth.
Yeah, right.
I just don't know how much you wanna,
Well, I think we need to talk to Laura to see what our options are.
But I don't want to spend, I agree too, but I don't want to spend more on attorneys than what it would cost us to replace the doors.
Sure, but there's a pretty big difference between what they're offering and what they suggested to you, Tom, they would offer when we had a problem.
Yeah, well, the first offer was we'll stand behind it.
Well, then that's what
And
they should do.
but now we're getting,
Yeah.
Fair point.
I mean, I can ask her basically what our options are, and not write another letter or anything like that, just ask
Yeah.
her what our options are.
Yeah.
And see where we wanna go. It's unfortunate, but we gotta move along, I think. Garage doors I'm waiting for. The, painting, as soon as he's ready to paint, he's supposed to be doing that project at one of the beginning projects for Clinton Grove. I did share with you too, I found the repair list that Tom had put together from our May 4th, 2015 visit over there. And I've gone and there's 4 things off the list. There's a whole lot more. That's why I just said I updated it on 418. I took out, we replaced the boiler, we did the handicap parking, the no parking signs got moved, and the plantings.
First half is done with the plantings. We removed them. I spoke to you about needing to do something there as far as, they're just gonna all grow back up as brush again unless we do something. And, you know, maybe Highway can mulch the whole area. You know, you
If that's what you want to do, I think it looks nice without the shrubs, but that's what
yeah, I think it looks. Yeah, I'm
And I think
biased,
the
I suggested it, but-
the front sign, I think Jack was trying to get an Eagle Scout to do the, see what he could do about the front sign. We did part of that because we did the removable letter part. You fixed that part.
Right, and I have, but Jack wants the scout to do research on his own for it, but I
That's
do
fine.
have an estimate from a company in Henniker to rebuild the present sign. But because of the way it's constructed, it's $2,400 to rebuild it as it is. And then Tim gave me a couple of local sign companies that,
So the next thing is,
I think we can lump 4 of these into one project.
Okay.
Whoever we get to do the bell tower spires, I think could do the water deflection over the door. That's a simple thing, take no time at all. And address the rotted eaves and crown molding, since we're talking about rotted wood replacing for the spires, and then paint all that stuff. The trim, the rotten wood, replaced wood, and the spires.
and what about, are the corner boards part of his, I know it's under
Corner boards
painting.
and trim, under the heading of painting.
Right, so is that,
I think that would be part of the same project.
the windows are a big project in themselves.
Sure, but I don't think they should be lumped in with these, probably a whole different contractor.
Yeah.
So with that being said, to move forward, we probably have to have a discussion, and Sherry's here, about the spires. What are we gonna do about the spires? There's 1 or 2, are they still on the ground?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think this requires very minimal documentation and more of a field trip with interested people, maybe with us. We did the field trip amongst ourselves, but say we're gonna meet on whatever night it is at the town hall.
Oh, I see what you're saying, have a
Any contractor
pre-construction
that's
meeting.
interested,
Yeah.
come, we're gonna show you what we want, and then you can go off and give us a price on it. And then, like a bid.
So list out these 4 projects like an RFP type of thing.
Yeah, I don't even know how much more detailed than this.
No, that's what I'm saying,
But
but put them
literally
on
go out
one,
there and identify the stuff on
right,
site.
and invite contractors from the list or whatever to meet
Yeah.
us a certain time.
The only question I have on that is whether, some contractors might not be willing to do the tower work.
They could exclude it from their bid, I guess. We could have the discussion when we're there.
Hey, we asked for Sherry's input. She's raising her hand.
How are you?
My only concern is that you're probably gonna wanna go with pressure treated, so it lasts. The other thing is that I would say the flat part of the roof on the very top, and also that lip that when you come out with the 4 spires that you took off, or 3 that you took off and 1 fell off, that roofing has not been touched for many years, so that probably, if somebody's gonna go up and put new spires up, probably should be doing that roof over while they're up there.
I don't know, it looked pretty solid.
Well, the roof hasn't been touched since the spires were done.
Sure.
And the spires were done in 64 or 62, and that, it's in the 60s. Just,
Did you go?
I'm afraid of heights.
I didn't go up either. I think we stayed down. You guys went up.
We went
Yeah.
out.
I loved it. I kept going up. I brought a reporter up to.
Oh, did you
Yeah.
go again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I just think if you're gonna do it, and you're gonna have somebody up there with a lift, that's the time to have that roof, those roofs done, and have it done with, so you don't have to worry about it for another 30, 40 years. You put the spires up, and then next year, the roofs are leaking.
Yeah.
What is the story on the company that did the Clinton Grove bell tower?
Are they still in
They're
business?
still in business, but they were bought out. The owner that was in charge, when we did the original work on the stone building, she sold that business out, but the foreman is still involved, or he was a year ago. I spoke to him. Tom.
That might be a specific one to invite.
To invite.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we walk, we can get their opinion too.
Mm-hmm.
But you might want to, I don't know what's up on the very top, whether that's a metal roofing up there or not. I know that those outside ledges on the lower part,
Shingles.
shingles, it was pretty spongy. I don't know if there's several layers there, but you step out on it, and I
Where
stepped,
the bell is?
yeah, it was pretty spongy feeling when you stepped on it.
Yeah.
And that was a couple of years ago. Well,
We'll look again, we'll definitely have to go up again.
yeah. And I'd be happy to come up when you're doing that again. No. And if you go with pressure treated, I think unless you can buy something that's been hanging out for a while, that has to set for a year before it can be painted. So you might want to see if this,
I wouldn't put pressure treated for the trim boards and stuff up there.
Does it stay
No,
with the
this
historical?
is just for the spires, that's
Yeah.
all I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Either or AZAC?
AZAC is what I'd be leaning towards.
Well, remember, that's on the National Register of
Historical.
Historic Buildings. They don't normally put
Right.
that material up there.
60 feet in the air.
I
I'm
don't
not gonna
care.
have to touch it again.
Well, you think that if they do the,
Is that, I put a Weather Vanes of Maine cupola on the store, and it was made out of a material that looked just like wood, and it held, I mean, it wasn't PVC,
Okay.
which is that what you're talking about,
Yeah.
that type of material?
I mean, you
I
could
mean,
probably
it
use
would
cypress or something.
Never, ever know that it wasn't a wooden cupola.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought when we had the discussion about putting that building on the historic,
That's been on the National Register for many years
Many
now,
years.
since
Well,
1970-ish.
well, there was a building, and I know we've had this discussion, and I remember hearing that there was no kind of restrictions on the building by getting it listed. So putting,
There's not restrictions, but they don't look to have like plastic put out on a
well,
historic building.
well, the Mill Yard in Manchester is all historic buildings, they're all in the registered historic places, and when they replaced it with, they didn't put wood sashes with single pane windows in there, they're all
Vinyl.
false divided lights, one big pane of insulated glass, and some are vinyl clad, most are probably aluminum clad. So, when materials change, it's probably not a bad thing to go with what works the best, even though it's not necessarily what they built it with in the 1800s.
Right.
Inside those spires, there is some original cedar left, the ones that have come down.
Yeah,
So
I
cedar
know.
was probably our choice at that time,
Yeah.
or a cypress,
But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's other woods that will last for 60, 70 years.
When those were put up, you said in the 60s, were they a replacement for the same thing that was there before?
Mm-hmm.
Or
And who knows, because I wasn't around then, Tom. Time
Just a
before.
child, huh?
I wasn't there the time before when they put them up. I was a child when they put the last ones up, but not the time before.
Oh,
I wasn't
that's what
even thought of.
That's what I meant.
Just want to make that quite clear.
I believe that was refreshed around 1980. Someone put in the cross rails. I want to say Jeff Brown did that job, but because there's actually still a stamp on a piece of the 2x4 that they use the guardrail where they come off.
Mm-hmm.
You flip it over, it's a stamped piece of lumber. And I think that was redone. The spires weren't remade. I think they just docked it up. And they put aluminum trim and whatever on them, but they
It was
did
pretty
fix
flimsy.
the railings. I would say about 1980.
Actually, you had his name, didn't you? Dick
I-
Colburn?
I
Then
did-
Frank and Dick?
Yeah.
My-
Yeah, that's
I don't know
what
if
he
Frank would have been
Those definitely
involved
wouldn't be
or not,
classified as
but
railings,
Dick was
that's for
there,
sure.
yeah, Dick worked with,
Dick would
everything
that was it.
what's the guy, Farmer? Dick and
Yeah, Frank.
Right.
Frank Farmer,
Yeah.
Does
yeah.
anybody think, agree with meeting out there with contractors?
You have it, you want to,
I don't know, we could throw a date out there, but then
I'll throw a date out
3
for you.
weeks? 3 weeks from tonight?
I'll see, I'll have to see, I mean, we've got contractors we could reach.
Mhm.
I mean, we can't, probably 3 weeks get you into May, yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
Do we have to have a lift present, or we can?
No, we can
them
get up there.
Okay.
you can all file up there, and only a few of you can hang around together.
We had quite a crowd
Yeah,
up
we
there.
had quite
I
a
know.
party up
And then they had to
above.
ring the bell, I know.
Of course, we have to ring the bell again when we're upstairs.
And those.
Naomi, can you let me know when you're doing that?
Yep.
Okay.
It'll probably be
Good.
3 weeks or so, and we'll, and I don't want to pick a Monday night, because I don't want to rush back over here,
Mm.
because now that it stays light longer, we can, you get people walking around, talking, showing them what you want to do. I was gonna try to do it Monday night before the meeting, but it just isn't I guess it won't work in my world to have us do that and to spend the ample time for the contractors. So,
That the second one down, maybe we could get somebody, a local person, maybe you've hired a person that has done the painting in here and a lot of little projects,
Yeah,
but
that's
that
fine.
deflection over the door,
This is diverter.
yeah,
Just a
I mean,
diverter.
just to,
Diverter.
what was
We don't
suggested
need a
was
bid process for a diverter.
just to reverse a piece of drip edge.
yeah, I saw that.
And
Threshold sharing.
because it's already, if you look at the railing that was put up, there are some uprights in that are already warping because the water comes down, hits the
Drips on
top,
it, yeah.
goes on. And it's such a simple thing.
The other thing was, and I think you probably want to wait till you get the new doors, but those thresholds need to be fixed because they're tipping in and the water runs in and on a really, when it's raining hard,
Well-
you got water in on the floor.
Part of the proposal that Mass Road is giving us is that if we go with the upgraded doors and pay 50% of the upgrade cost, then they will give us new thresholds, new, I think they're mahogany thresholds, or walnut, one or the other, whatever. They'll toss that in as part of the
Okay,
reimbursement for us, so that's in the plan.
okay.
Are those warranted?
But
Is there a warranty on those thresholds?
Not on the door itself,
The new doors?
or are we missing in particular?
No.
New doors are not warranted, because as we found out after they were installed, the warranty is void if the doors are over 42 inches wide.
Okay.
No, we're talking about the new doors.
The-
The
Are we
new-
gonna get a
the ones
warranty
that
on the
were
new
working.
Oh, we
doors?
wouldn't make the same mistake twice.
I hope not.
Let's hope so.
Get a stick and beat you.
So we bring doors down to 42 inch?
No,
No, they will be,
same design.
because
as
of the
they are now.
material
But
difference.
they would have warranty.
Okay, before I sit down, can I just ask one quick question? I know it's not public comment, but Naomi, I called the office this morning. The town hall door was open. It was like 38 degrees this morning, and the town hall door was
Which
propped up.
door?
One on the side, first one closest to the road.
Okay.
I shut it, and I said, I couldn't get a hold of you, but I called Maureen, and I just said,
Yeah, because the penny sale, I think, used it.
well, it was open all night long, so I imagine the furnace ran all night long.
Okay.
That was what, Saturday was a penny sale, right?
Yeah, I know.
So
I
that
don't
was
think anybody
all day
used it yesterday.
Sunday and Sunday night.
But I came by there, and the door wasn't open Saturday afternoon. So unless it blew open,
Oh,
I
this,
don't-
no, this was propped open with a big rock.
Oh, no, the door was shut when I came through, so I'll have to ask Mary if it was somebody after the penny sale.
I don't know, but. I should-
Because when I came through, the doors were shut. There was like 3 cars, but they were picking up, and the door was shut unless after I went through, somebody propped it open to get something, but.
It was like 40 degrees when I saw it, so I'm just thinking that the furnace was running. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Now, I do have one more thing. There's pictures, I guess the gazebo's starting to tip.
Rack.
Yeah, it's cracking, but it's also starting to
Flip.
tip.
Rack.
Rat.
Oh, rack.
It's spiraling coming down.
Okay. So, if you ask me, that's a good picture, but.
What's that?
Well, the thing is, on those, there are a couple of them that are so punky
No,
that
just
you can
kidding.
stick a pencil right into the
Yeah,
wood.
there's this one here. And then you can see this that's starting to,
I think that's from my key.
see this here?
So that's vandalism then, huh?
It was pretty much there, but it just,
But it's starting to, you can see that, definitely. That's the top part. So, the thought was to maybe keep people out of it right now. I'm not sure, because the kids do go in and play in it.
what Chip doesn't know on that, and I think, he doesn't know if those are simply wood or if there's a metal post inside of the wood.
It looks like this is a decorative column that you poked into, and probably
Well, here's
the middle
some more.
of it
I'm
is
sorry,
a
I didn't
solid
mean to-
piece that goes up.
Here's some more
Yeah,
pictures
that's what we would
that were
hope.
taken.
What I was thinking is just taking like an ice pick. Isn't gonna
Going till you hit something solid,
see if it hits anything.
or if it comes
solid.
out the other side.
Then we know.
His concern was there's kids that play in there and whatever all the time. Should it be
You take these? Bob?
No.
chipped in? Should it be, posted
No, I
so
think
that the
planning board, he
kids,
mentioned it, so I don't know.
so that they don't play on it anymore? I don't know. Because the after-school
Is
program's
the whole
right there.
top kind of spinning?
Is that what you mean, the whole top screen?
Racking.
Yeah.
The weight is just,
So it's spinning the top, and
yeah.
the columns are not plumb then.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what happened or if it's just like.
Because I see one
If you
part,
step back and look at it, you can actually see that it slightly, there's a slight tilt to it, a slight lean to it.
but one of the pictures shows that it looks like somebody tried to prop it up. There's some pieces of under one corner.
Well, Naomi, you remember 3 or 4 years ago that they went and jacked that up on one side and put a couple of new pieces of wood underneath it, because they rotted and it was tilted that way. So I don't know if that's what it is or not, but
Mm. So the question is, do we post it to
Maybe
keep the
not
kids
force them.
out? Do you
It's just signage.
put some yellow tape around? Caution?
No offense.
No fence it.
Thoughts?
Anybody's, yeah.
Somebody have to fix that.
Yeah.
you know, the other thing is the lights are on 24/7 over there. Don't you think it'd be a good idea to put a switch in, at least dawn to dusk switch at least? It's
Probably-
on all the time. There's quite a few lights in there. All
In the,
day.
during the day, you mean?
Yeah, they're on all day.
They were on the pictures. I noticed that.
I saw them on the pictures.
Kind of street lighting budget to
Not
have.
photo sense.
Yeah, photo sense, absolutely. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're kind of stuck in the middle. We've sat here and we've identified that as a potential hazard. So we're not ignorant of it.
Right.
In which case, if anything happens, we are extremely liable.
Okay, then we have to post it at that.
and get somebody in there. This right here, when I look at it, and totally unskilled, but just as an observing, there are only two places. This is a danger sign. It's pulling away.
That shows movement, yeah.
Shows movement, and then what I showed you where that the bottom of one of these is rotted out. The rest of them seem pretty solid. There was one other that was a little punky. This one was definitely, though.
I would bet those are decorative. And there's a structural element inside.
I would hope so. And Chip said something about if somebody were to go up in here, they could probably get a good idea of this, how solid it is. If they went up in the hatch and looked at the framing, could tell more than they could by just this.
Oh, we learned a lot about the bell tower. We went up there. That is
It's pretty
solid
real.
as a rock.
Thing going
I thought I
on.
had heard that thing was tilting or whatever at one
The
point.
bell tower itself is tilting back. You're standing in the parking lot, the whole bell tower is this way.
I think it must have been built that way, though,
Yeah.
because
I don't know.
there's
If you
nothing's
look at
going to
the
move
timbers,
up
some of
there.
The timbers don't even touch upstairs.
Well, we'll look then. Show us when we go up because it looked solid as a rock.
So we can post it, but then do I have somebody look at it? I mean, that's one thing right in the center. And you're gonna want, I mean, if there's gonna be any type of, I'll say concert on the Commons or
Well,
4th
that's
of
what I'm
July,
Old Home
yeah.
Day,
Old Home Day, right.
Before that, it's July. Yeah, patriotic celebration.
So, I mean, we can post it to be closed, but
We need to take
do
action.
we have to search out contractors and,
Yes.
Is that something that the gentleman that's gonna be doing
The
the
water?
construction over the handicap door take care of?
I can ask.
I wouldn't think that.
No, that's.
No.
No, that's a much bigger job than
Okay.
that. I think that we make that field trip with this town hall, and we do the same with
Continue to
this.
So include it with the town hall field trip?
Yeah.
Who built it originally?
I don't remember.
Built by some volunteers in town.
I don't know. All right, so we'll post it right now because it's a hazard, we know of it, so we're liability. So I'll post that and then I'll include it in the next 2 or 3 weeks with our trip and the contractors.
Yep.
Okay, and you got this? I don't know that Benji had a chance to see it because this came in between
25th anniversary.
I
the
spoke
Mountain Road.
I got an email. I forwarded an email I got from that.
But this is different.
This is a separate one?
This is Mountain Road,
Yeah, it was Mountain Road, but I got an email from too.
For a
There's a tire that was broken.
that's right.
Same name?
Nope, different person.
Okay.
Different person, has been paved,
I can't
6
read
years.
the name of the person on this one.
Michael McCarthy.
Okay.
Says Mountain Road's not been paved. Once in 6 years I've lived here, we have to get alignments on our vehicles almost monthly as a result. More importantly, it's affecting the property values of anyone living in the area.
Well, we talked to Benji about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I don't think he's seen this. It came in and he was here for 1 day, so, I'll get a response from him. The last thing is, that I have, is I got a request from the library that at the trustees meeting on April 11th, they made a motion that they recommend Mark Carey of Weare, do you remember him? To be an alternate library trustee. We appoint the alternates, so they're asking that we appoint Mark Carey as an alternate to the library trustees.
He's the one that was running?
Yeah, we met him at candidates night.
I move that we appoint Mark Carey as an alternate to the library trustees.
Second.
Any discussion? Do we typically have them come in front of us and
We
talk
haven't
to them?
because they're,
They're separate?
yeah,
Well, I was gonna suggest that we don't on this particular one because it was so recent that they had a candidates night and people
Okay.
were able to see and hear from him anyway.
okay.
Whether
Yeah,
or not
no.
we had them come in front.
No, we
with us.
haven't. It's typically a letter from the trustees asking, they've made the nomination or recommendation to you to appoint.
All in favor?
Aye.
C-A-R-E-Y. And just, at the end, I'd like just a brief, I got a follow-up on, the question we had last week about buyouts from the attorney. I just wanna,
Legal?
yes, it's legal.
Okay. And we're back at public comment. Any public comment? Okay, correspondence. The only correspondence I was gonna mention was the email we got from a person on Mountain Road that hurt their car and were looking for us to take care of it. I got a response from Tim, that included an RSA that we don't replace
Tires.
damaged cars or, repair damaged cars from a pothole. But the fact that we have another Mountain Road complaint also raises a flag that we should seriously
Mountain Road
look at
needs to be
Mountain
looked
Road.
at. I mean, anybody that drives there, it's been a
It's
while.
pretty,
Any other correspondence? Any other business? Okay. I move we go into non-public under RSA 91A32E. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Good night.
Right.
yeah.
The TV doesn't show. Would you like to see yourself?
Look over your shoulder.
There you go.
What's that?
Shows it.
So welcome back. We've just come out of non-public, discussed a legal matter and a personnel matter. And so, due to a misunderstanding of the ACA law, Affordable Care Act law, we have made a first quarter payment in buyouts for a few employees. And this board has voted, well, we're about to vote, I'll make a motion then, that we vote to cease and desist future buyout payments for employees that are not, that we're not obligated to pay insurance buyouts for.
I would just insert the word part-time.
Right. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?